February 2021 is looking to be a pretty decent month for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. In today's video, I'm going to cover 16 badass looking games coming to both the PS4 and some to the PS5 in February 2021. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's kick things off with Destruction AllStars, releasing on February 2nd on the PS5 digitally and physically for $69.99, but if you have a PlayStation Plus account, you can get it free in the month of February, which I will definitely be doing and checking it out. I see a lot of people hating on Destruction AllStars, and I don't understand why, because the game looks fun as hell and very unique. In Destruction AllStars, you are taking part in vehicular combat all about timing, tactics, and skills as you try to cause tons of damage to the other vehicles by ramming into them and other tactics. If your vehicle is destroyed, you will continue on foot as you use dodges, abilities, parkour, and more to survive and even potentially take over other players' vehicles and get back into the action. There are 16 different characters to choose from, each with their own abilities and tactics, and 28 different vehicles. There's also a single player story mode as well, with over 50 events to play through. Destruction AllStars looks like an absolute blast, and this is coming from someone that typically has no interest in online multiplayer games like this. This may be one I end up checking out when Destruction AllStars releases sometime in February. Next up is Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, releasing on February 2nd on the PlayStation 4 digitally and physically for $59.99, and the physical version comes with some extra goodies. I'm a fan of the Ys series, and I've played Ys Origin and Ys 8 on the Switch and loved both games, and we finally have a new entry in the series with Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. You take on the role of Adol Kristen once again with his friend Dogi as they are imprisoned in a large city called Balduk. They join forces with beings called Monstrums who possess supernatural gifts, and they work together to defeat threats from an evil dimension called the Grimwald Knox. There are 6 different Monstrums you get to play as, each with their own unique gifts and abilities, and the city in Ys 9 is incredibly vertical, more so than any other game in the series. Ys 9 Monstrum Nox looks like an incredible action RPG and an awesome addition to the series, and I cannot wait to play it when it releases on February 2nd. Next up on February 3rd is Habroxia, releasing on the PlayStation 4 digitally only for $9.99. Habroxia is a badass looking 2D shoot 'em up with several cool features. It is a non-linear old school style shooter where you get to choose your own path through branching levels and customize your ship with 64 different upgrades. There are horizontal and vertical shooting levels and over 20 bosses, as well as a new game plus, boost rush mode, and boss rush mode. If you're a fan of the shoot 'em up genre, then you have got to check out Hobroxia II when it releases on February 3rd. Next up is Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood, releasing on February 4th on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, $49.99 digitally only. In Werewolf Apocalypse Earthblood, you are a werewolf warrior of the Fianna tribe, and you set out to save Gaia and your old pack. You have 3 different forms you can utilize, being human, wolf, and werewolf. In the human form, you can interact with people and engage in dialogue. In the wolf form, you can sneak and explore better, and in the werewolf form, it's all about rage and combat. Werewolf contains brutal and action-packed combat as the werewolf, and if you're not careful, the rage within will consume and destroy you. Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood is a badass and intriguing game that may be worth your attention when it releases on February 4th. Next up is the Nioh Collection, releasing on February 5th on the PlayStation 5 digitally and physically for $69.99. The Nioh Collection is launching on PlayStation 5 and will contain Nioh and Nioh 2 and all DLC in one package. It will support 4K resolution, super fast load times, and up to 120 frames per second gameplay on compatible TVs and monitors. I've never played the Nioh games, but they have always been on my radar as they are Team Ninja games, and Team Ninja is an absolutely fantastic developer. I've been told that the Nioh games are brutally difficult and are best described as a cross between Ninja Gaiden and Dark Souls, and to me that sounds like a winner. This is one release in February that I will definitely be picking up when Nioh Collection releases on February 5th. Next up is Little Nightmares 2, releasing on February 11th on the PlayStation 4, $29.99 digitally and $39.99 physically, and there is currently a demo available. Little Nightmares 2 is the sequel to the popular horror indie game Little Nightmares, and it is a horror adventure game where you play as a boy named Mono who is trapped in a nightmare world distorted by a tower transmission. This time around, you have a girl named Six as your guide as you set out to solve the secret of the signal tower. You will be running and hiding from strange terrors as well as solving puzzles as you try to survive this hellish and creepy world. Little Nightmares 2 is looking to be a solid and fun little horror game, and you can check it out when it releases on February 11th. Next up is a game called Aground, releasing on February 11th on the PlayStation 4 for $14.99 digitally only. Aground is a 2D survival mining and crafting RPG similar to Terraria and Minecraft in some ways, and you take on the role of a human survivor stranded on an island trying to survive. You'll be exploring, crafting, building, and mining, as well as meeting NPCs, unlocking technology, and even magic. There's so much to discover underground as you mine, leading to a constant state of progression. Here are just a few additional things you can do in Aground. Go on quests, fight enemies and bosses, farm, cook, ride vehicles, level up, fish, and so much more. Considering Terraria is one of my favorite games of all time, Aground looks like a game that will be right up my alley, and I cannot wait to play it when it releases on February 11th. Next up is Fallen Legion's Revenants, releasing on February 16th on the PlayStation 4 digitally and physically for $49.99, and the physical version comes with a bunch of extra goodies. Fallen Legion Revenants is a fast-paced action RPG that will test your reflexes in real-time battles while you command your squad and destroy your enemies. As you play, you will be able to influence the events of the game and the castle through dialogue options, and each decision you make can impact the game in drastic ways. You will be able to craft potions and other items with your alchemic recipes, and also use stealth in the castle to find secrets. Fallen Legion Revenants looks to be a pretty solid RPG, and you can get your hands on it when it releases on February 16th. Also on February 16th is a badass looking game called Speed Limit, releasing on the PlayStation 4 digitally only for $9.99. Speed Limit is described as a non-stop genre-warping arcade experience that never slows down. It is non-stop action and changes genre often, from a side-scrolling shooter to a top-down car chase to a 3D dogfight and more. It is a difficult game, and you will die a lot, as Speed Limit will really test your reflexes. I highly encourage you to go watch the full trailer after this video, because Speed Limit looks like an insanely badass game, and I think it will be a day one purchase for me, and I will likely stream it when it releases on February 16th. Next up is a game called King of Seas, releasing on February 18th on the PlayStation 4. I was not able to locate a price. If you know that, let me know in the comments down below. King of Seas is an action RPG in a procedurally generated pirate world full of fights and treasure. You will embark on many quests in the world in an epic adventure and meet interesting characters as you explore the procedurally generated world that reacts to your actions to create more challenge. You will be sailing the high seas, finding treasure, and getting into strategic and intense fights with other ships. You have the ability to customize up to 5 different types of ships with different equipment and skills. There are many more features and secrets to uncover in this epic pirate adventure when King of Seas releases on February 18th. Next up is Anodyne 2 Return to Dust, releasing on the PlayStation 4 on February 18th digitally only for $19.99. In Anodyne 2 Return to Dust, you take on the role of Nova, who sets out to cleanse all the nanodust infecting New Thailand Island. It features a huge scale and a cinematic story, and the game is fully 3D and inspired by Zelda games with an art style that captures the look of a retro Nintendo 64 or PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 game. You'll be exploring cities, valleys, wastelands, and more, and even retro pixel art 2D environments that represent the minds of other characters. I played Anodyne 1, and it was a really awesome 2D Zelda-like game, and Anodyne 2 looks even better, and it is incredibly intriguing with the art style and some of the gameplay mechanics presented. Anodyne 2 Return to Dust is looking like a really unique and interesting game, and I will probably pick this one up when it releases on February 18th. Next up is Persona 5 Strikers, releasing on February 22nd on the PlayStation 4 digitally and physically for $59.99. Persona 5 Strikers is an action RPG that uses the combat system from the Warriors games combined with a story from the Persona 5 universe. You will fight your way across Japan on a road trip as you and the Phantom Thieves fight corruption that is taking over Japan. I've been told and read that even though Persona 5 Strikers has the combat of a Warriors game, it does not play like a Warriors game. It plays more like an action RPG. People really seem to speak highly of it, and you can check it out when it releases on February 22nd. Next up is Curse of the Dead Gods, releasing on February 23rd on the PlayStation 4 digitally only for $17.99. Curse of the Dead Gods is a roguelike action game full of bottomless pits, traps, and monsters to fight. You will need to use your mini weapons, mystical relics, and the environment to survive hordes of enemies and traps. Curse of the Dead Gods is very skill based, as you wield swords, spears, bows, guns, light, fire, and even curses that are inflicted upon you can be turned to your favor. Curse of the Dead Gods sort of reminds me of Hades, which is not a bad thing at all, and it looks like another amazing roguelike, and you can check it out when it releases on February 23rd. Also on February 23rd is Taxi Chaos, releasing on the PlayStation 4 digitally and physically for $29.99. Taxi Chaos looks like an insane and over-the-top version of Crazy Taxi, and it is an arcade racing game all about picking up customers and transporting them to their destination as fast as you can to collect large cab fares. There are 7 different taxi cabs to drive as you explore a large city full of New York-inspired areas, and you will be finding shortcuts, doing stunts, bashing your way through traffic, and making insane jumps. Taxi Chaos looks like a stupidly fun time, and it seems like it will really capture that Crazy Taxi feel, and we can find out when it releases on February 23rd. Next up is Wrath Aeon of Ruin, releasing on February 25th on the PlayStation 4 digitally only for $24.99. Wrath of Ruin is a difficult old-school style first-person shooter game made by 3D Realms, the creators of Duke Nukem 3D, Prey, and Max Payne, and is already out on Steam with very positive reviews. They have created the game using Quake 1 technology to really give it that old-school look and feel of classics like Doom, Quake, and Hexen. You will utilize powerful weapons and artifacts as you explore crypts, ruins, temples, and forests, killing unimaginable number of enemies. The environments are large and sprawling with many different enemy types to take down as you listen to an amazing soundtrack from musician Andrew Hulshult. Wrath Aeon of Ruin looks to be an insanely intense and badass old school style first person shooter game from a studio with a ton of experience, and I can't wait to check it out when it releases on February 25th. And finally in February we have a game that I'm probably gonna butcher the pronunciation of. I think it's Xuan-Yuan Sword VII. You can correct me in the comments down below. But it releases sometime in February. I wasn't able to locate an exact release date. If you know that, throw that in the comments down below as well. It's releasing on the PlayStation 4, and I was not able to locate a price either. If you know that, throw that in the comments. I think it's probably going to be $59.99 just based on the look of the game, but I could be wrong. Xuan-Yuan Sword VII, if that's how you pronounce it, is an action RPG inspired by Chinese mythology and history, and you take on the role of Tashi Zhao, who is a swordman caught up in a journey to protect his family and find the truth. The combat is real-time, and it is combo-based with active skills, dodging, blocking, and countering. You have a bamboo scroll called the Elysium Scroll that can absorb monsters, create items, and many more techniques and mechanics such as slowing down time and improving armor and weapons. This looks like a beautiful, epic, and fun action RPG with potentially a good story, and we can find out when Xuan-Yuan Sword VII releases sometime in February. Seriously, correct me on the pronunciation of that in the comments down below. Well, there you have it, folks. 16 awesome games coming to the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 in February 2021. The games that I'm most excited for are Destruction AllStars, Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, the Nioh Collection, Aground, Anodyne 2 Return to Dust, Speed Limit, and Wrath Aeon of Ruin. But I want to know in the comments down below, what games coming to the PS4 and PS5 in February are you most excited for? Also, let me know in the comments if there are any games that I missed that I should have covered in today's video. As always, folks, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure and hit that like button. And if you're new here, consider subscribing so that you can join the Retro Wolf family. Stay safe out there, keep playing games and having a good time, and I'll see you all in the next video. Later.